welcome to Do Go On. My name is Dave Warnicky, and I am joined, as always, by two of the best chums in this room. It is Jess Perkins and Matt Stewart.
How do we feel about that?
Yeah, no, because it sounded that I felt warm-hearted early.
Yeah.
And then, like, why did he... I wonder, it's one or two things. Either he just genuinely doesn't like us that much, or he thought he opened his heart up a little too much.
And
then
like,
went,
oh, no,
I had to retreat. You mean nothing to me? You
can't get hurt if you don't let people in. That's my theory.
Let us in, Dave.
Let us in.
Open up.
And did you also like that I said, how do we feel? Because
Yeah.
I see you and I as a team.
We're a team. Whereas Dave, obviously...
What am I?
He's
The
put
coach.
himself on the other side of the...
I'm a coach. Well, you just bought yourself 5 minutes on the fucking bench.
Yeah.
Matt, you filling in?
Oh, and see, as a team member, I'm happy for Matt. Hooray!
Hey, fuck you, Jess. This is my
Oh.
time to shine. Woo!
Okay, well, I'm happy for you, but okay, that seems excessive. Wow, tension early. Am I right?
Enjoy your time on the pine. Here I
that's-
go.
I'm trying to...
All right, what does that mean? What does that
on
mean in real terms now
Time
that
on
I'm
the-
on the ground? Because, I mean, Jess is still able to talk. Should you turn her mic off while I'm on the field?
Yep.
Don't turn my mic off, guys. It's not we're not playing any kind of sport,
Well, I'm very confused.
And I'm very competitive.
and I was going to say something wildly inappropriate to stop myself. Well done, Jessica. Have a
that
chocolate
is-
biscuit.
Wow, that is a new thing for you.
It's a new high for you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
I'm so curious as to what that could have been.
Horny. It's gonna go
Horny,
horny.
okay.
You're-
That is
wow,
insane.
so
That is wildly
I'm
inappropriate.
competitive, you're horny. And what were you, Matt? Who cares? All I'm thinking about is Jess's horniness.
Okay, well,
this is weird.
Let's move on from
Dave,
that.
eyes back on the road, please. Hands at 10 and 2. You're driving this
I
vehicle.
am driving while we do this show. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, well, last time we were in bunk beds. Now we're driving.
On the
Well,
road.
we live in a camper van. It's
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah, we
obvious.
do. Yeah, of course. Should have known. The Doogoon van.
Guys,
Go on van.
I'm feeling great. I've had a Twix for dinner,
Yeah.
a chocolate.
Which I've never seen someone eat a Twix that way. You had... So Twixes come in 2 pieces.
So chocolate bar in 2 pieces, 2 fingers, if you will.
And you opened 2 packets of Twix and had 1 out of each. Like the weirdest person in the world. It's so extravagant. It is like the most... You are like a rock star.
I would like to say that I heard that Twixes had been poisoned,
I was gonna say.
but only 1 stick in each, so there's only 50% chance now that I will die.
Okay. Oh,
So I'm feeling pretty confident.
well, that
Yeah.
makes sense then.
Has that answered all of your questions?
Yeah, I think that... covers...
Not raised any more issues?
No, obviously you were keen on a Twix and the risk was well worth it.
Exactly. I'm actually having a love affair with Twix at the moment.
Just going through a phase.
Oh, I used to be all about Twirl.
I
Yeah,
love
12's definitely the better.
Twirl's my number one. But they were both 99 cents today, and I ended up buying 2 Twixes rather than 1 Twix and 1 Twirl or 2 Twirls.
Interesting. Have you tried a mint twirl? Are you a fan of mint?
I have. It was pretty good, but not as good as a normal twirl.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think I
Agreed.
agree with that.
I just wanted to. I wanted to know that you'd tried a mint twirl.
Do you got... Did
needed
you...
to
I'm
know
ready
that.
to die now. I've tried a mint twirl.
So,
I'm ready to die.
Well-
Ready to die.
Well, I did eat the Twix.
so a twirl is a flake with a chocolate
around.
coating.
Yeah.
It's coated.
Do you guys remember timeouts, which were...
Oh, they're still
They had
around.
biscuit in
They
them,
were
though.
like with
No,
a layer
wafer.
of wafer.
They're like the poor man's twirl, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
no,
aren't
not a
they... Are
fan.
they a twirl with flake? With...
What?
There's a lot less chocolate and a lot more biscuit.
Sorry, I just had,
Yeah, no,
had a
there's
stroke.
there's wafer in there, which is not. It gets in the way of the chocolate. But flake is fun, but messy. Whereas twirl, with
Yeah,
that
it's like
chocolate
all the joys
casing-
of a flake without spilling it all over yourself.
This
And-
podcast is sponsored by Cadbury.
It's interesting that
Well, I wish.
You know,
I would
like-
honestly take a box of chocolate.
Oh yeah.
you get just a thick block of chocolate, the exact same chocolate, and somehow that's less satisfying than one that's got air in it.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Like
Mm.
Aero,
yeah.
amazing. So bubbly.
Ah, Nestle, see?
There you go.
In terms of fairness, I think we've gone both major parties now.
There we go.
We've supported the troops
Yeah.
of chocolate.
But of course, Lindt is the best
Oh,
with
yeah,
sea
yeah.
salt. Dark chocolate with sea salt.
Okay,
All right.
see,
Not a
when-
fan.
no,
Not a fan of Lindt.
No, when I was in Europe, they had milk chocolate with sea salt. And I looked everywhere and I could not get it in Australia. And then just as you said it then, I just got really excited because I'm going back to Europe and I'm just going to eat so much of it. Oh my God, I'm going to come back 10 kilos heavier.
Yeah.
Well worth it.
So worth
Is that
it.
because you strapped 10 kilos of chocolate to your body
That's
and
probably-
smuggled it in?
That's probably a better idea than just eating it.
Cocaine.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely bring back cocaine.
Yeah, but then sell that and buy a lot of chocolate.
You can buy a lot of chocolate. The street value of a European chocolate in Australia is quite high.
Yeah, so you gotta plan ahead with the cocaine.
Yeah. Cocaine's the middleman of this scenario. It's really about getting Jess to chocolate.
Comedy doesn't always pay, you know. Cocaine
Does.
always pays.
Yeah. Crime always pays.
Cocaine will never let you down, is what I'm saying.
If there's one thing we're going to learn on this episode.
It's that Dave's ready to die, and cocaine always pays.
So curious as to what your topic is.
Yeah.
It is nothing to do with drugs or chocolate.
Well, I'm out.
Is it out of the hat?
Look, okay.
Oh, it's not. It's not.
Apologies to the hat,
You
which
promised
I
the
love and
hat.
respect. I promised the hat, but then you'll understand. I've been toying with this topic for a long time. I saw an opening, and I'm just like, I'm going for it.
An opening?
Ew.
I mean, every third episode there's an opening.
Well,
You can literally do anything you
Well,
want.
once again, I was gonna, and you was gonna eat 2 different Twixes. I thought there's a possibility this could be my last ever episode.
You've
Right.
tried the mint twirl. You're ready
You're
to
like,
die.
I'm ready to die.
There's an opening. I get it. All right. So do you have a question?
All right, so
Have you said on the record, though, if you die, what we do with the body? I forget.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
shooting you into
Oh,
space
no, you have
with a
to-
packed asshole?
You have to, no. Well, that's option 2. Option 1 is you buy a fresh crematorium that no one's
Oh,
been
Oh,
burned in.
that's right. 'Cause
And
you-
make
you
sure
were-
you get all of me into the urn so I don't have to share it with someone else
You were so
forever.
freaked out by that.
It still freaks me out.
That whole episode freaked me out, to be
It's a
honest.
really graphic episode. Go back. I think it's number 9 or something.
10. Burial, cremation, or other. It's my favourite episode.
Really?
What?
Wow.
Yeah, I reckon it is.
Thank you.
I reckon it is.
And now I've heard that, I truly am ready to die.
That's all you needed.
Yeah.
Get the trifecta.
Yeah.
I'm a big DB Cooper fan. Another one of
Oh,
yours.
yes. No, actually, do you know what? Dave, I reckon, has had the best
Yeah,
ones.
definitely. This is very inside baseball now.
No, but Back to the Future was great because
Let's
Yeah.
go through them all.
because of Dave.
Well, it's episode 34. What better time than to celebrate the last 30 weeks of the show?
No. Okay, but Back to the Future, which was one of yours, Matt, was
Yeah, thank
great.
you.
But it was
Scratch your
great.
back here.
It was great because of Dave doing his Sydney Scheinberg impression.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
all right, let's get stuck into this one.
So I've
then.
got if you haven't heard the
Dave
show
was
before,
feeling pretty low before. If you guys didn't know, before the episode, he was feeling a bit low, and we're just pumping him up
Yeah.
a little bit.
thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it a lot. I'm feeling great now. I really
Yeah,
am.
that's good.
If you haven't heard the show before, thank you for listening to all of that.
How
Why?
tedious.
We take it in turns to report on a topic. This week it is my turn. Our topic this week takes us. Well, I actually thought it was going to be for the first time to Africa, but it isn't because we've been there for Egypt. So the first time to deep darkness of Africa, right to the heart.
Okay.
Is that a racial?
Same thing. And I
I
thought,
wanted to say the heart of darkness, the very famous Joseph Conrad
Right.
novella. Anyway,
yeah,
so
you
we're going-
fuckhead, read a book.
come on, Matt.
I'm familiar with the book. It's the one from the
The,
bookshop.
the novella. The
Yeah,
novella.
novella.
Okay, and I am
It's the
going
one
to.
with that big African tree on the front cover.
Stop licking your pen and noting things down.
It's weird when you lick a pen. So our topic takes us to Africa for the second time, possibly last. Who knows? And I'm going to try a sport one. Can you believe this?
We've only done one sport before, I think.
Yeah, we're going in for this.
No, Olympics.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, it was opening ceremony.
We'll talk to you more about
Anyway.
Nikki Webster than any event. The question is, once again, a very opinion-based one, what was heralded as one of the biggest sporting events of the 20th century
I know what this is going to be.
In Africa.
in Africa? Jess can have a go, and then Matt can
yeah,
go
I
on to
definitely
this.
know what it is, and I know why you've picked it.
Great. So, Jess, you want to go from... Matt and I are now on the same page,
No,
I think.
I don't want to now because I'm scared.
Is it a boxing match?
It is a big, famous boxing
Is
match.
it? I'm not 100% sure. Is it Rumble in the Jungle?
It is the Rumble in the Jungle. So at the time of recording, Muhammad Ali died 2 days ago, and this is a very, very famous boxing match, one of the most famous of all time, and I decided that I'd take the opportunity. Now it's very topical.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well,
So that's what I saw. I've been wanting to look into this for a long time,
yeah.
and then it seems very apt to do it now.
Okay, that's what you mean by there was an opening.
There was an
You
opening.
had
So
to wait for Muhammad Ali to die,
Exactly.
you monster.
Well, I'd actually started researching one from the hat, so I'm going to come back to that next episode, unless another very famous person dies.
in which case we have to honour them a week later.
Speaking of which, Matt, we were talking. Well, you've done a whole episode about famous people dying this year. When you heard the news of Muhammad Ali's passing,
I mean, since then there's been a few, so it's like, oh man, it's like because we were kind of joking that it was just
yes, maybe a
it's just
coincidence.
coincidence, but it's feeling more and more like this has been
A big year
a
for it?
crazy year for it. Yeah.
Well, we're going to try and honour the memory of the great Muhammad Ali with the story of the Rumble in the Jungle. And to get there, I have to take you back. I'm going to give some background on the players in this story. So, Muhammad Ali. Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. was born in Louisville, Kentucky on January the 17th, 1942. Did you know that Muhammad Ali was called Cassius Clay?
I did, yes.
That was his slave name.
Well, he was named after his father, that's why he's a junior, who himself was named after a Kentucky politician who worked for the abolition of slavery.
Oh.
So he was a white guy, but he was the ambassador to Russia under Abraham Lincoln, the guy that fought for the abolition of slavery. But I will say that the original Cassius Marcellus Clay owned slaves, so
Okay.
so he is kind of I can understand why he would call it his slave name. But Cassius Marcellus Clay grew up in the American South in a time of segregated public facilities. His father supported a wife and 2 sons by painting billboards and signs. So his dad's a billboard guy. Clay, I'm going to keep calling him that until he changes his name. Clay started boxing when he was just 12 years old. One day he went out on his bike, and when he came back, he found that it had been stolen. He started crying, and when a police officer asked him what was going on, a guy called Joe Martin, he told the police officer that he wanted to whoop the thief. Officer Martin told him he better learn to box before he can do that, and offered to teach him. I'll be your teacher.
That seems weird.
And then for the next 6 years, he trained him up from the ages of 12 to 18.
What?
I will say he had experience as a boxing coach.
Sure, yeah.
Of young boys in the area.
Right.
Probably young children in the area. Saying
It
young
would've been boys.
Young
It
boys
would've
in
been
the area
boys.
just sounded seedy.
Yeah,
It's
but
not.
it would have been boys. Like, it wouldn't have been girls. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, we're talking like late 1940s, I guess. Girls hadn't been invented yet.
Well, the first fact of the episode.
Huh, girls not invented yet. Interesting.
Clay began training at Columbia Gym, which was racially integrated, unlike many other Louisville boxing gyms of that period. He trained and entered the amateur boxing circuit that year when he was just 12. And over the next 6 years, he trained up. And in 1960, he won a gold medal in the light heavyweight division at the 1960 Rome Olympics.
What?
Right.
It's pretty good. Because boxing at the Olympics is considered amateur
Amateur.
boxing. So it's not like...
Oh.
And that's still to this day, or is that
Yeah,
changed?
still to this day. So they have like...
Because it used to be all the sports were like that, I think. But then it's weird
Yeah,
that
now,
some
like
of them
the-
have remained and some of them
Yeah,
haven't.
so now like the NBA and tennis and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, like all the
it's the
big...
same people you see play every week.
Yeah.
Just play for their country.
Hmm.
But yeah, in boxing, and they have shorter rounds, and it's less about knocking the other person out, and it's more about points.
Yeah.
So you don't have to try and smash them in the face. It's more like, I punched you in the chest 11 times, so I get 11 points. Stuff like that.
Wow. I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that either. But there are points in the other ones as well, right? In the
Yeah,
pro-
so a boxing match works, they usually have like 12 rounds. But that sometimes changes. But if no one knocks the other person out or concedes, then they get to the end and there's 3 referees, like judges, and you get a point for each round you win, and whoever's won the most of the 12 rounds
Right. I find it pretty interesting.
wins by decision, that's called.
Wow.
Have you ever? I watched a boxing match last year with Rob Hunter, who's a big boxing fan, and watching it, he was like scoring it himself.
Oh, so he was actually scoring,
And he
saying who
just-
won each round.
Yeah, and I found it's so much more interesting to watch it when you're watching with someone who
Knows what they're
what's
thinking, mate.
going on.
I
'cause
also would
it's-
not have picked Rob Hunter to be a boxing fan.
So he's like So Rob Hunter is a friend of ours and a Melbourne comedian.
yeah.
I didn't know he was into boxing.
No, I wouldn't have picked it.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I think he's quite a big
Cool.
fan.
And obviously, if he's scoring, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just like, oh, that's just like a whole nother element to it. Like I'd seen when Danny Green fought against Anthony Mundine, I went and watched that with some mates, and they're just like, yeah, hit him.
Fuck him up.
But then watching it with people who are like, ooh, that was an interesting combination, and that's worth this many points and stuff like that. It's like, oh, okay.
That's interesting.
That's a whole nother kind of...
It is cool when you watch when people know. My housemate's really into surfing. I've never watched surfing before. He streams it live from Hawaii, and then you're watching it, and he'll predict the score, and it's nearly always right.
Because it's a similar thing, right? It's with it's points for...
Points, yeah.
And it's... Both of those are kind of like... It's up to a panel of judges.
Yeah, so surfing's much like gymnastics, where people give them a score.
So, yeah, it's not like high jump, where it's like, this guy definitely jumped higher.
You're definitely the winner.
Yeah.
And then they have unanimous decisions where all three of them go, Muhammad Ali definitely won. But then they have like split decisions where two pick one and one. That's always controversial.
Right.
Interesting.
Right, so Muhammad Ali's, Cassius Clay's just at 18 years old, he's got a gold medal.
By the way, both names are so good. Cassius Clay and Muhammad Ali.
How good are they?
Yeah, great names.
Man, I love it.
I mean, it's no Jess Perkins, but yeah, nice try.
Well, top 3 names I've ever heard.
Thank you, Dave. Matt, that face says otherwise, which is interesting.
Say, top 8.
Top 8.
Yeah.
Top 8.
Top 8. With Tom.
Good old Tom. Ali would later claim in his 1975 autobiography that shortly after his return from the Rome Olympics, he threw his gold medal into the Ohio River after he and a friend were refused service at a restaurant. So people wouldn't serve them because they were black. But this has been contested, and the story repeated in many different ways over time. Some people say he just lost it. But anyway, in 1996, at the Atlanta Olympics, they gave him a new gold medal.
Oh, wow.
When I say I love that story, I love the throwing of it into the river.
You don't love
not the getting
racism.
Refused service.
Okay,
part.
mate. Yeah, righto.
I swear.
Okay, mate.
Yeah, right, mate.
You guys agree with me? It's a unanimous...
Unanimous.
That's a 2-1. Clay, as he was still known at the time, then turned professional and won his first match in 1960, so just 18. From then until the end of 1963, Clay amassed a record of 19-0. So he won all of his matches with 15 wins by knockout.
Was that good?
So that's 4 by decision. So that's 19 out of 19 wins.
He never lost.
Yeah, right.
Is that helping you figure it out?
No, I'm just double... But yeah, I get it. It's 19 out. But is that... Would you say it's like... Is that good or is that really
That's
good?
100%.
Or... Yeah, look, I get the maths. I want to know... Is that like a good... Is that... Would he say that he's happy with how the career is progressing at this stage? Or... I mean, stop telling me the number. I heard the numbers.
Yes.
Oh, well, he is very... Despite his success...
What, Dave doesn't necessarily agree. What do you think?
I think that he was very happy with himself.
Okay. All right. Now that we're all on the same page.
But not everyone was happy with him.
Jess. Yeah, so maybe someone else thought maybe 18-1 would have been better.
You're a dickhead.
Well, despite his success in his early bouts as a pro, Clay was more highly regarded for his charm and personality than for his ring skills.
Much like Matt with his comedy. It's like, he's not that funny, but he's...
off stage, he's very funny. That's the thing about...
He's quite nice, I guess.
As soon as the mics go on,
I
go off.
How come the claws?
Much like Matt, opinion on Clay was divided, and he infuriated devotees of the sport as much as he impressed them. So some people were all for his charm, and other people were like, he's just a shit-talking kid. He would spout poetry and trash talk all his opponents before and after his matches, which it's really easy to trash talk when you've won every match.
Yeah.
Like, boxing purists would cringe when Clay predicted the round in which he intended to knock out an opponent. So Matt Stewart's going down in round 7.
So good.
That would piss them off, and that would annoy them even further when often he was right.
Oh.
And he would gloat about it.
Yeah, but see, the arrogance it's unsportsmanlike. That would piss me off too, I reckon. I don't like that.
I don't know. I think that's just part of boxing.
Yeah.
And the
It's
fighting
a
thing.
mental thing.
A lot of those individual sports, I think, are a bit like that, and you have to build yourself up.
You know, you see him do those weigh-ins now, and there's like the face-off, and there's a bit of trash, and it's sort of drama.
For the photo,
like
they push
drama.
their faces together, and they're like...
But it's all kind of...
If that was me, I'd just give him a
Jess
little
is
kiss. I'd like get real close, and then I'd just kiss him on the nose. Just a little...
You taste good.
Okay.
A little butterfly. No,
Just a little
butterfly kiss.
Eskimo kiss.
Eskimo kiss. What's a
It's like,
butterfly kiss?
Butterfly kiss is with the eyelashes.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
good.
you
That's
have to get
very, you have to get real close
even
with that
closer.
one.
Feel that? That's my eyelash. Feel like
Butterflies.
that?
Feels like
Cassius?
butterflies.
Huh?
Close your eyes and feel this, and it's like butterflies.
Feel
Can you
that.
feel that? Does it feel like butterflies? Do you like that?
Have you ever? You never felt a butterfly? Well, that's it. We're going to the zoo. We're going to that hothouse.
The butterfly enclosure. Let's go, everybody.
Just bring the whole media
The
pack.
whole thing.
Yeah.
And the other guy's
The
still just
scales.
trying to like grit his teeth. Like, I'm gonna kick the shit
Yeah.
out of you, and you're just like,
Butterflies.
How cool are butterflies? There's a blue one.
There was a one recently, like one of the big heavyweight champions is this big fat English guy. Have you seen that guy?
Oh yeah, he's amazing. Oh, I can't remember his name.
And he's just like
not
at
an
the
athlete
weigh,
at
and he's
all.
sort of grabbing his fat in his stomach, going, "They call me an athlete," and he's like jiggling his stomach around. But he's like, "Yeah, I'm the champ." So
That's so
Ugh.
cool.
Yeah, and he is like the boxing champ.
in one of the big heavyweight divisions, and he just sounds like he's just a.
Oh, Tyson Fury, that's his name.
Oh, what a name! But he
Tyson Fury.
seems more like a guy should be a champion darts player, not a.
He looks like a guy that you'd be scared to fight at the pub, but you would be like, well, you still can't technically beat
Yeah.
the pros, but he does.
Much like Matt with his comedy.
Yeah, technically, you should
Getting
be
some
able
real
to do
mixed
it.
messages from you today, Jess.
Good. Like to keep you on your toes.
Well,
Your
that-
little twinkle toes over there.
What's
Why are
he-
you always wearing tutus?
Huh? Oh. Look,
I
at,
like
look
'em.
at- I'm feeling my way through life, Jess. I don't know the rules.
I'm feeling my way through life. Although I must say, when you wear your point shoes, it really shows off your calves. You got great legs.
Oh, the old point shoes. Sure do wear them.
I'm just feeling my way through life.
Well, we're not born with a bloody rule book, Jess.
Well, I was.
If only there was a life manual, you
Borrow
know.
mine, mate. I've got one at home.
We're all got bloody 20/20 vision in hindsight. You know what I mean?
Tell you that for free.
Yeah. Nah, it's $5.
Hey, Dave, do go on.
Thank you very much. Well, some would claim that the opponents that Cassius/Matt was besting were a mixture of veterans who had long past their prime and fighters who had never been more than mediocre. So some people are like, you've never even fought someone that's good. So when Ali, or Cassius, challenged heavyweight champion Sonny Liston for the championship in early 1964, Clay was definitely the underdog for the fight.
He's
Right.
what, 22?
He's 22 years old. Sonny Liston was widely regarded as the most intimidating, powerful fighter of the whole era.
Wow.
And there was
Well,
some
with a name like Sonny,
Sonny.
Sonny Liston, and there were
that's a nice name.
I should have gone into that with more lyrics there, but.
How does
Sonny.
Sonny's a nice name. You wouldn't be scared of a guy called Sonny. Oh, now I want...
Sonny.
Well, I will say-
I love you.
what's that? What is the song?
I think it's called Sonny.
Don't know.
I'm going to challenge that.
Yeah.
So there was some 22-year-old trash-talking kid saying he could beat the champ, all this stuff. The odds against Clay was 7-1. 7-1. So no one really backed him. But to
Wow,
before
that is long odds in a 2-horse race, Jess Perkins.
I'm not good at odds. I don't understand them at all.
I think that is 7-1 means you get $7 if you put $1 on,
for every dollar you bet.
Yeah.
which is crazy. That's a toss of the coin. You know, two
Yeah.
possible results.
Yeah, okay, now I understand what you mean.
That's like super long odds.
In a 2-horse race.
Did
Matt
you know I
Stewart.
used to be a problem gambler?
Really?
Yeah.
You've done it all. Just feeling your way through life, I guess.
Is that true?
Sort of.
Well, we should a gambling episode would be great.
I'd bet on you, Matt.
Always bet on stew. I thought that was gonna rhyme.
Well, if he's this good, off stage, imagine how good he is on stage. Oh,
No, that'll rhyme. Here we go. I'll get it with a sweet rhyme. Always bet
There
on
was
stew.
a few seconds after I'm like, wait, how did that happen? What did I do? How did I muck that up? What is going on? How did I think? Anyway.
Hey, Matt.
Matt, maybe? Matt? No.
just an inkling, but you weren't a very good gambler, were you?
That was the problem, Dave.
That was the problem.
He was trying to rhyme in the...
I don't think problem gamblers are guys who won a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, good
They don't
point.
call it a problem. They call it a career. Clay taunted Liston during the pre-fight build-up, dubbing him the Big Ugly Bear.
Okay,
Called him a Big Ugly Bear.
come on, that's
Don't
nasty.
poke the bear.
He would say, Liston even smells like a bear. After I
Alright.
beat him, I'm going to donate him to the zoo.
Okay, jeez Louise.
Trash talk is incredible.
That is great trash.
No, come on. That's not nice.
You don't talk about the champs like that.
That's not pleasant.
Unless you can back it up.
Have some respect.
Let your fists do the talking. at
Clay,
least.
well, he let his bus do the talking. He purchased a bus and had it emblazoned with the words, Liston must go in 8.
What the fuck?
On the day of the contract signing, he drove it to Liston's home in Denver, waking the champion with the press in tow. At 3 a.m. shouting, "Come on out here! I'm gonna whoop you now!"
It sounds like something out of a Will Ferrell movie.
Yeah, that does. doesn't it?
You know, like this happened in Talladega Nights,
Yeah.
not in real
And
life.
apparently,
That
listen,
is.
because he is Ali.
that is a very annoying thing to do.
I'm also.
Oh, you reckon you could beat me up now? Now that you've just woken me up in the middle of the night,
I'm
and
also
you've been
imagining that Ali or Clay turns up and the horn on the bus is like
Get out here, bear!
or like
Ooga.
He's like, oh, you're being very annoying to my neighbours right now, and to me.
Clay took to driving his entourage in the bus to a site in Surfside, Florida, where Liston, nicknamed the Bear, was training and repeatedly called Liston Big Ugly Bear.
Fucking hell. How about you spend less time stalking your opponent and abusing him and just training, you dickhead?
This is the boxing's...
This guy died
I
2
know,
days
I
ago, by
I
the way.
just remembered that as I said that.
No, it's fine. It's all part of his character
But
and
I'm
charm.
talking back then, dickhead.
Yeah, he's 22 and he's yelling this at the world heavyweight boxing champion.
Like,
Amazing.
just train. Just put your head down and train. Why are you're assaulting a person? You're harassing them.
Well,
This is stalking.
it possibly worked, Jess, because in 6 rounds, Clay won the fight in one of sport's biggest upsets, and at 22 became the then youngest boxer to take the title from a reigning heavyweight world champ.
Shit.
It's amazing.
So no one backed him.
How old was
Except
Sonny at the
him.
time? Do you know?
He would have been in his early 30s.
Wow.
It was Mike Tyson won. He's the youngest champ at 20 in the
Wow.
world heavyweight.
Mike Tyson. I can make fun because I have a lisp, so it's fine.
Okay.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, it works.
An eye for an eye, a lisp for a lisp.
Lisp for a lisp.
Sunny Lifton.
I mean, mine's adorable, but his is just fucking annoying.
Oh, okay. So not all lisps are
No,
born
they're not
equal.
born equal. God,
Oh man,
no.
this is amazing. There is no record of Liston's birth.
Oh, that's cool.
His family, but not Sonny Liston, can be found in the 1930 census, and in 1940 he was listed as 10 years old. So I guess it's 1930,
30,
which would have made him 34.
34.
Yeah, okay, cool.
That's amazing, though.
That's pretty cool.
And then, 2 days after becoming champion, Cassius Clay shocked the boxing establishment again by announcing that he had accepted the teachings of the Nation of Islam. And on March 6, 1964, he took the name Muhammad Ali.
Wow, okay.
64.
64.
So just 2 days after becoming the champ, he's like, changing religion, and then
I'm
a couple of weeks
Muhammad
later,
Ali now.
changed his name.
Great name.
Such a great name.
Great choice.
Over the next 3 years, Ali dominated boxing and was undefeated,
Wow.
including his rematch with Sonny Liston, where he knocked him out in the first round.
Oh, that would have
jeez.
sucked. Imagine
Sonny.
being
Like the best of your era,
and
and then
just
some guy
someone-
comes along and
some
just...
kid, some mouthy kid.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's not even a good sport about it. So, would you respect him? Or would you just be like, fuck, he's annoying?
It would make it hard to be like, well, I got beaten by the better man.
Yeah.
Like,
One of the most famous and iconic photos of Muhammad Ali boxing is... I don't know, not sure if you've seen it. You probably recognize if you saw it. It's Muhammad Ali sort of holding up his right hand, and then there's a body on the floor. That's Sonny Liston.
Oh, that kind of breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Poor Sonny.
Yeah. But then in 1967, when the US was at war with Vietnam, Ali was called up for the draft. Citing his religious beliefs, Ali refused induction into the army. He said he had no quarrel with the Viet Cong. And this is a quote. My conscience won't let me go out there, shoot my brother, or some darker people, or some poor hungry people in the mud for big powerful America. And shoot them for what? They never called me the N-word. They never lynched me. They never put no dogs on me. They didn't rob me of my nationality, rape or kill my mother and father. How can I shoot them poor people? Just take me to jail.
Oh, it's so
So powerful.
Yeah.
Wow.
So good.
Although exemptions for military service on religious grounds were available to qualifying conscientious objectors who were opposed to war in any form, Ali sadly was not eligible for such an exemption because he acknowledged that he would be willing to participate in an Islamic holy war.
Oh.
So if you'd said that you wouldn't fight, like if you're like, I won't fight anyone, which is kind of ironic for a boxer to say anyway, but
Yeah, true.
I won't go to
I
war.
hadn't thought of that.
He said he'd fight in a holy war.
Yeah.
I won't fight, but unless it's a holy
Holy
war or
war.
my job.
But I guess that's the thing that I always go back to about religion. If you do really believe in a god, then I guess you would do anything for it. But I mean, what god do you believe wants you to fight in a holy war? My God is, he's all about love and peace and stuff, and killing people who disagree. Like, so silly.
Well, I think you'll find that many major religions
Yeah.
have had that argument over the last 2,000 years. But Ali was systematically denied a boxing license in every single state and stripped of his passport and his heavyweight title.
Wow.
As a result, he did not fight from March 1967 to October 1970,
What?
from 25 to 29,
The key years.
which is many of his potential peak years.
Yeah.
So a lot of people say, imagine how good he would have been.
Wow.
That's a long time.
4 years.
And also to be out for that long and come back and be good again, which I guess he...
Well, I mean, it's hard. You have a week off gigs and you come back a little rusty. Imagine 4 years off boxing.
Boxing, yeah.
Wow.
And at that time, you'd been training your whole life, and then suddenly got to take 4 years off.
Yeah, but I mean, he was still allowed to, fight on the street and stuff, right?
Well, he was still training, I assume, was he? Or was he not allowed to even do that?
Well, in his own time, he could do what he liked.
Sure.
Yeah, imagine you can't
Not
stop someone
fighting on the
training in
street,
their
but he would have been
garage.
training.
Put down that skipping rope, mate.
Yeah. Hey,
Hey.
what are you doing? Is that boxing-related exercise or just exercise?
Oh, it's
Exercise.
just exercise.
So is he out of jail or is he in jail all that time as well?
Well, he was criminally indicted in 1967, convicted of refusing induction into the armed forces, and he was sentenced to 5 years in prison, and also fined $10,000. He remained free on bail until his conviction was unanimously overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court. But that justice took 4 years.
Right.
Can you imagine, though, being in jail for that? You'd want to be in jail for murder or something, just in terms of
I don't know.
street cred, jail cred,
Well,
you know?
I think coming in as the heavyweight champ, you got street cred.
Nah,
No
but-
one's going to touch you.
Okay,
I
excellent point.
Well, but isn't that
I did kind of forget that we were talking about a boxing champion.
there is he'd be the target. He'd be the one you'd take down, though, right? If you wanted to be big
Take down
dog.
the
Top
biggest
dog.
guy. Prison rules. Interesting.
But I don't know. I think that's
I mean, you're the one who's been to jail, so you...
just personally. I'd prefer to be in there for someone I believe in like that rather than killing someone. But
Unless you
that's where
believed in
you-
killing that
that's where you
person.
and I differ.
What if I believed in killing that person?
Do you, Jess?
Maybe I'll do that.
Be true now
I'm
to
being
yourself.
true. You always get straight through me. Cut through all those layers.
That's how Matt defended himself in prison, with words.
Yeah.
He had the biggest guys crying.
See, Dave, I let him in. I opened up. I let him in.
And see what he did to you?
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to be exposed, but it's also so freeing. So thank you, Matt.
No worries.
Dave, one day I hope you can open up to us in the same way. But hey, we're not going to force you. You got to do it in your own time, right, Matt?
Dave,
Yeah.
look at me.
Yeah, I am. If you're listening at home, I'm looking at Matt.
He is, I can confirm.
Open up to us, Dave. This is a safe place.
I already told you that I like Twix more than Twirl, and that's something that I've
Dave,
had
Dave,
struggling with
Dave,
over the last
Dave,
fortnight.
shh, shh, shh.
Neither of you have blinked for a long time. It's unsettling.
Open up to us, Dave. What do you feel right now?
I feel like I would fight any holy war for you.
Oh,
Oh, great. There you go.
that was really brave, Dave.
Thank you.
See that?
Feels
See,
good,
Matt, that
doesn't it?
rhymed. That was brave, Dave. Do you see what a rhyme is now?
I mean, that was brave, Dave. Which bit of that rhymes?
Oh, we'll keep working on it.
Is it the br
He's
and
a
the
mess,
duh?
Jess. There it is.
M-
It's okay, buddy. We'll keep
m
working
and
on
j?
it. In the meantime, Dave, please do go on.
I will say that just for context of this whole Vietnam objecting thing, so everyone looks back now and knows Vietnam's a big failure, but at the time most Americans at the start of the war still supported the war, so Ali was derided by the mainstream, but he was heralded as a hero of the counterculture.
Right.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
people are hating him, and then some other people are loving him.
The people who loved counters.
Counterculture. Very good.
I used to buy that magazine. And there's just a lot of photos of really nice counters. I might head off. You guys right to...
Keep
We'll
going.
carry on. One thing I found very interesting, you asked what he was doing when he was off for 4 years. I had no idea. During his time off from boxing, Ali starred in a Broadway musical
No.
called Buck White, in which he played the title character, Buck White.
No.
He did so to help pay his debts. Ali sang nearly every song in the musical.
Ew.
He played a militant black lecturer wearing a big fake afro wig and a big false beard.
Okay.
And he was addressing a meeting organised by a black political group. And there's a video, which I will share on YouTube, of him singing a song from it on TV.
Can he sing?
He's okay. He's very
Wow.
articulate because he's very good at these rhymes and things.
Sure.
And he carries the tune better than I expected. Is what I'm gonna say.
Wow. That's interesting.
But after his 4-year enforced break from boxing, Ali returned to the sport. So he did come back. He won his first 2 comeback matches and got himself a shot at the title that he was stripped of. So he hasn't lost any matches yet.
He's never lost a match.
But he's just had his.
That's crazy.
He's just had his championship taken away from him. So he still has claim to the championship.
Yeah.
So the fight was dubbed the fight of the century. It was him versus a guy called Smokin' Joe Fraser.
Fuck off.
Smokin' Joe.
These names are out of this world.
Both men at the time were undefeated.
Ooh. Oh
And-
no, somebody's got to get
I know.
defeated.
They both
So
could.
Fraser's like dominating in
Smoking
Ali's,
Joe.
Ali's absence. Yeah. So the title goes back up for grabs, and Fraser's won in the 4 years. There was the usual trash talk from Ali leading up to the event, who said some particularly hurtful things, painting Fraser as a dumb tool of the white establishment, even though he's also a black man. And he'd loaned money to Ali and spoken up for him during his 4 years away from the sport.
Oh, come on.
And Fraser would never forgive him.
Oh, man.
Well, he would come in and out. He would always criticize Ali, and Ali would apologize later on for the things he was saying. But the match, it was called the Fight of the Century. It was so hotly anticipated that people couldn't get tickets. Even Frank Sinatra couldn't get ringside seats.
Wow.
So he chose to take photos for Life magazine just so he could get close to the fight.
Frank did.
Yeah, how cool is that?
That's
What?
awesome.
Frank Sinatra was like, I'll take some photos for you.
Yeah, and in the
amazing.
What?
early 1970s, he's a massive deal. So
That is outrageous.
it went the full 15 rounds, so no one knocked the other one out. But Joe Frazier won by decision. It was Ali's first professional loss.
Oh my god.
Where was this fight? The fight of the century? Is this in Vegas or something? Or
These have them all over the world, but I've just looked it up. Fight of the Century, it was held at Madison Square Garden, New York City.
Oh, very nice.
So a massive, massive venue. So Fraser won, so he got to keep the championship. Then he lost the title to a young fighter by the name of...
let me have a guess. It'd be one. Is it the guy with the grill?
Yes, George
George
Foreman.
Foreman. Yeah.
So he lost the
Guy
title
with the grill. I have his mix and go blender, and it's
the
excellent.
George Foreman mixing. Did you know he was a boxer?
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
A lot of my girlfriend had no idea. She goes, the grill guy.
That just shows the generation, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it totally does. So
But hey, good on him, because a lot of professional sports people really struggle once they've retired, because it's like, well, what do I do now? Because a lot of them start quite early. They didn't get education. Like,
yeah, that's all.
tertiary
And you have
educations.
to retire in your early 30s, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, what do
It's
I
like,
do
what
for
do
the
I do
next
now?
45 years?
Do I go to uni now? And so that's why a lot of them try and study through it. I think it's great that George Foreman had a successful boxing career and then has also gone on to have a successful entrepreneurial career. Good for
Lean,
him.
mean grilling machine.
Yeah, he knows how to grill and
Well,
blend.
we're going to talk about the grill.
And the blender? I'll talk about the blender.
Great. We're going to have a full 10-minute review
It'll be fun.
of the blender. So I'm going to... A bit of background on George Foreman. George Foreman was born in 1949 in Texas, in Marshall. At age 19, he won a gold medal at the 1968 Mexico City Olympics. He turned pro and quickly set his eyes on the heavyweight championship. By the time he earned his shot at the title in 1972, he too was undefeated. He had won 29 out of his 32 wins by knocking out the other opponent.
Wow.
Wow. Now,
Crazy to have
Matt,
so many dominant forces at the one time.
do you reckon he would have been happy with those results?
So
100% success rate.
Oh, it's 100% again. So it'd be similar to the last one, which I'm just trying to remember. He was...
He lost 0 and won all.
And how do you reckon that would make you feel?
Probably a bit empty.
Bit empty.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you got nothing to compare it to.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what is
Yeah, what's a high without a low?
a high without a low?
Wow, God, we're getting deep today.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. But see, I've only ever lost.
Yeah.
So what's a low without a high though? This is just my norm.
Exactly. Good question as well. So you would feel just the same as they did, I imagine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just imagine that you'd knocked out 29 people.
No, I've only been knocked out 29 times.
Right.
But I take it like a champ.
Yeah, you take it like a champ.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let that go. But despite his record, Mr. George Foreman was underdog and not expected to win the match against Joe Frazier. Although considered by many to be somewhat slow and clumsy, Foreman was greatly feared for his punching power, size, and sheer physical dominance. So if you look at Ali, he's a muscular guy, or people of that era, but he's famous for his dancing and bobbing and weaving. George Foreman is just a massive dude.
Really?
Just stand and deliver kind of thing.
Yeah, stands there and just goes, and just like throws his arms and just knocks the shit out of
What's
people.
that toy? The like the two boxing men in the ring? What's that game?
Oh, yeah, what is
toy?
that?
That's what I'm imagining now when you say that. Like that's about as much movement as he has. It's just like punching arms.
The fight between Foreman and Fraser took place in Kingston, Jamaica. See, it's all over the world.
Cool.
And was called the Sunshine Showdown.
Hello. See, that sounds lovely.
And despite being the underdog, Foreman overpowered Fraser in just 2 rounds. He became the heavyweight champion at age 24.
Wow.
24. So, just to put it in context there, George Foreman just beat a guy that beat Muhammad Ali over 15 rounds in 2 rounds.
Dave, we're 25. What are we doing? What have we done?
How many people have you knocked out, Dave?
Yeah, Dave.
Well, I could count them on 2 hands.
0? Is it still 0?
It's still 0.
He's
Called
just-
my buff. Called my buff.
He's just holding his hands in a little cup.
It's just making
nothing.
a really big 0.
Check that out.
None. What have we done with our lives? This sweet ass podcast. All
There's
right.
still time to franchise this into some sort of grill-based.
Yeah, the Do Grill On.
Oh, that's pretty good. But ours comes, it makes it have extra fat somehow.
Oh yeah. It
Double
adds
the
fat.
fat. Yeah, there's a fat device. You pour in fat.
You're
what's,
welcome.
What's that? You got a lean steak? Put some fat on that.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Do Grill On.
That's our phrase. You're welcome. Do grill on.
We look really smug.
Yeah, like that.
We're also we've gained a lot of
Yeah.
weight.
Get some meat on them bones. Do grill on. You're welcome. Right? Not saying much.
Interesting.
If we were on an
Interesting.
episode of that Shark Tank show, would you be backing this idea?
Would you be there pitching it with us, or would you be like, guys, I'm busy that day, but good luck?
No, in my mind, that is a sure thing. I wouldn't be going to Shark Tank and letting them get a piece of that sweet pie.
No way. We're gonna
That sweet pie with extra fat on
Yeah.
it.
Hey, we're going to delete this whole episode. Stop the podcast and go make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't believe no one's thought of this already.
I'm embarrassed for humanity. Idiots. Sorry, Dave.
Well, no, that's fine. I'm going to be a rich man by the end of this episode. George Foreman defended his championship twice. And then following his loss to Fraser, Ali won 10 fights in a row. So they're both on a sweet winning streak.
Jeez.
George still undefeated. Ali even had a rematch with Joe Fraser, and this time Ali won.
Yeah.
So the defeat of Fraser set the stage for a title fight against world heavyweight champion George Foreman. So whoever won out of those was going to be the number 1 contender,
Right.
and Ali smashed him.
Cool.
Did that have a cool name? There was another. So the Rumble in the Jungle is one of the really famous names, and there was one other one that had a great name.
The Thriller in
Yes,
Manila.
that's the one.
That's the one. Where was that?
Melbourne.
Interesting.
Ballarat.
Thriller in Manila.
I wish I'd said Ballarat. They really wanted to sell tickets. Frank Sinatra could get as many as he wanted. He was not taking photos.
Nah, it's
So-
probably in Manila though.
No.
The stage is set for the championship battle. Enter a then unknown boxing promoter by the name of Don King. You guys know who Don King is?
I
Yeah.
know him from. Is he parodied in The Simpsons?
Yes, he's
Yeah.
parodied on The Simpsons. Frederick Tatum's manager, Lucius Sweets.
Thank you. Yep.
Who, if you're not familiar, guys, Don King, imagine now a very old man with big sort of afro-y greying hair. So it goes from black to grey throughout the afro. And it looks like he's put his like a knife in the electric socket, that kind of thing. So it's shut up. It's got it's like his trademark look, and he often wears bling and stuff. And on The Simpsons, they take that to the extreme.
Which is unlike The Simpsons.
Well, Don King's a really interesting guy, and I've actually thought about doing a whole episode on him. But we'll just talk about him now. He seems like one of the most charismatic and yet dodgiest people ever.
Great. I love those kind of people.
He's worked with most of the great boxers over the last 4 decades as a fight organizer, promoter, or their manager. And nearly all of them, and I'm serious about this, nearly all of them have sued him.
Really?
Yeah.
After the first few, you'd think, maybe I won't sign with this guy
It's
after
very strange that he managed Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And then Tyson sued him for multiple tens of millions of dollars.
Wow.
But by that time, he's already got this reputation. He's been around for 20 years.
It's like, well, why didn't you learn Mike Tyson?
I know. And
Yeah, Mike Tyson. I would expect him to be making better decisions. Mike Tyson made a bad decision. I'm baffled.
But I got to tell you that King, before he was a boxing promoter, already had a dodgy past. He started out by running an illegal bookmaking operation out of a record store's basement.
Illegal books? Well, I never.
Yeah, he was making books.
Oh, jeez, I think that's a noble act when he's not allowed. Books are illegal, and he's like, well, no, people need books. Jeez, always, what is this? World War II Germany? Am I right?
Ugh, the book burning.
Yeah, that's.
He was more in a book binding.
Chuck that one up. Well, so he makes books, right? He's an alright guy. But after being cleared of a 1954 murder charge,
Okay.
which a judge found to be justifiable homicide as King shot a man who was robbing his gambling house, King was sentenced to prison in 1967 on a manslaughter charge for beating one of his employees to death. Yeah.
Justifiable?
But was Justin late again? Because Donna talked to him so many times about that. And I was like, seriously, dude, if this is going to be a consistent problem, we can talk about you starting at 10 instead of 9 and you can stay till 6. Like, is that going to be a problem? And Justin was like, no, it's fine. I can be here at 9. I'm sorry. And then he just kept turning up at like 9:15.
Yeah, these
9:30.
counterfeit copies of Lord of the Rings aren't going to print themselves, Justin.
Exactly. And you know what, Justin? If we add up all that time, by the end of the year, I've paid you for an additional, week that you haven't been here. Like, I know we're a family, Justin, but it's also a business.
You know.
So, justified.
You can push it and you can push it, but
Yeah, I feel like you're just
I'm gonna
taking the
push
piss
back.
now. You're taking the piss, and it's disrespectful.
I imagine.
And I'm going to have to beat you to death.
and hand me that crowbar.
No reason.
No reason. Oh, you'll find out.
Unrelated conversation. Well, that must have been the parole pitch because he was paroled in 1971 after only 4 years, and King decided to enter the business of boxing.
Sure.
The next year, he persuaded Muhammad Ali to compete in a benefit exhibition to raise money for a Cleveland hospital.
Aww.
Great guy. Buoyed by his success and with Ali's encouragement, King became a full-time promoter. So Muhammad Ali's much to blame for him becoming a boxing guy. He separately took contracts to Ali and Foreman that said if he could guarantee each boxer $5 million, that they would agree to fight. So he took a contract to one, then the other, and those got them both signed in. The problem was that $5 million at the time is $30 million now.
Sweet Jesus. Okay.
That's good money.
Each, and this is US dollars. So King found it difficult to find financial backers. No one wanted to pay that much. But King,
Weird.
being the dodgy guy that he is, he looked where most other promoters hadn't thought to look. He approached the crazy African dictator of Zaire, Mobutu Sese Seko, who agreed to put the money out from his very, very poor country's treasury.
Oh.
So the fight was on.
Oh.
And now a bit of background on Mobutu Sese Seko and his country Zaire. Mobutu was born in then Belgian Congo in 1930. When Congo became independent in 1960, he was put in charge of the army.
He's 30 years old.
30 years old. Another guy's a president. They've also got a prime minister.
Matt, how many armies have you been in charge of?
Oh, I mean, do you count? We talking all kinds?
All kinds.
Okay, I can count the amount on 2 hands.
You're making it a 0 again, aren't you?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
my trick. That is my trick.
Yeah.
Trademark.
But what am I doing with my other hand?
Your third hand.
Giving Dave the finger. Matt, stop it.
Mhm.
You're a rude little boy.
But that finger next to the that's 10. I've been in 10
you
in
have
charge
not.
of 10
You're
armies.
just fibbing now, aren't you?
10 armies.
10 armies. And then what?
You're fibbing.
I'm not.
Name
wow.
them. Name the armies.
Okay, sure. The Green Army,
Fibbing. Anyway.
the Salvation Army,
No, you weren't ahead of the Salvation
the
Army.
Australian
You're being disrespectful now.
Navy Army,
The Australian Navy Army.
the
Wow.
Shop Fitters
And turners.
and Turners,
Hey, that was a union. That's not an army.
Union Army,
No. Oh, Union Army. Okay.
The Barmy Army.
Barmy Army.
Army, the
Genie Army.
the
The Darmy Army cheering on Darmy M at the Eurovision 2016 competition.
You were ahead of that one.
no, I was a Dharma and Greg fan, but Dharma
wasn't?
Dharma didn't run with Army, so I had to change it. I used to know how rhyming worked.
Dharma Armour.
Dharma Armour,
Bananarama.
the Dharma Armada.
The Dharma Armoire.
Armoire, which is just a cupboard. That doesn't count, does it?
Well, if it's a cupboard full of weapons.
Wait, did you ask me to list Dharma-related things? I forget the question.
Dave.
The Dharma Palmer.
Dharma Palmer.
Well, I think you're going to like this next sentence. So, Mobutu was in charge of the army.
Oh, he
When
was
he's
right.
30.
I did like it.
I've liked all of the
No,
sentences
But
so
then,
far.
in 1965, there was a coup.
Ooh, a coup
A
d'etat.
two-day coup d'etat, perhaps?
There's a note here that says, pause for Jess and Matt to say 2-day coup d'etat.
Remember how hard I had to work on that?
The 2-day coup d'etat.
Two-day coup d'etat. Now, it just rolls.
I purposefully didn't look into how long the coup took, just so, I don't know, let's assume it took 2 days.
2 days.
they all
Also, how
do,
do you spell
I mean.
coup?
COUP.
Aha, yes.
The chicken coup.
That is what I thought.
But then the coup
Two-day coup d'etat.
coup d'etat. That spelling is
Oh,
trickier.
it's
I
different.
think that's what DE''TAT, right? Coup d'etat.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think there's like, aren't there different
And there's a
accents and
there's a
shit?
bar in Bali that's KUDETA. 3 separate words. Coup d'etat. Great bar. We're also sponsored by Coup d'etat.
Is that in Kuta?
No, I think
that
it's
the
in
joke there?
Seminyak. No,
Ah, so the
just
joke isn't that they've put de in Kuta.
I mean, it's a good joke, Dave. No doubt about that.
Copyright. So Mobutu decided he would be president.
Sure.
He then, like a good friend, Super Murat Niazov, liked to rename things.
I
that took
thought he was going to become involved, but that was before his time.
So he renamed the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which had only had that name for 5 years. He renamed it to the Republic of Zaire. Then in 1972, he decided he was bored of his own name, so he changed it from Joseph Desiree Mobutu to Mobutu Sese Seko Koko Nembedu Wazabanga,
Fuck, that's
which
a great
translates as the all-powerful warrior who, because of his endurance and inflexible will to win, will go from conquest to conquest, leaving fire in his wake.
name. That
That is a great
And
name.
that is taken from the Encyclopedia Britannica, so that is real, my friends.
is amazing.
And he decided he wanted everyone to have African names, so he ordered the people to drop their European names for African ones, and priests were warned that they would face 5 years imprisonment if they were caught baptizing a Zairean child with a European name.
Wow.
But baptizing was still cool.
Oh, he's good with that. Just as long as you call them.
Something cool.
I
Something
guess
African.
Jesus was probably from closer to... Where's Jesus? You're the map boy. Where's Jesus from in terms of the map?
What, Jerusalem?
Yeah, where's Jerusalem sit? Is that closer to Europe or Africa?
Oh, it's kind of right there in the
Right
middle
in the
there.
middle. So yeah, so that's fine.
So that's
Funny,
fine.
I think of Christianity as a European thing because they're housed in
The Vatican.
The Vatican, but I mean, Jesus wasn't an Italian man.
Oh, but if he was,
Mamma mia.
we'd be worshipping pizza.
Oh, I do.
Me too.
Me too. Mobutu has been described as the archetypal African dictator and as the Stalin of Africa.
Oh boy.
His classic look was a grey abacost, which is known as a Mao suit, like Chairman Mao. So a very plain grey suit, thick framed glasses, a walking stick, and a leopard skin pointy toque hat.
Oh my
So put
god,
that on
he
his head.
sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, he sounds
He-
super cool. What a trendy guy.
And over the years, Mobutu proved adept at maintaining his rule in the face of internal rebellions and attempted coup d'etat. But his regime had little success in establishing the conditions needed for economic growth and development. He really wanted to kickstart the nation's terrible economy, but couldn't work out what he was doing wrong, despite the fact that he was embezzling billions for himself and became one of the richest people on the planet.
But why is our economy not doing
Why
well?
isn't my country doing well?
Guys,
I
look
gotta
at...
go have a gold bath because I am just so stressed.
Follow my lead, guys.
Takes just
Be rich.
He paid lots and lots of the country's money to extend the very poor country's airports so Concorde planes could land, so he could charter them so he could fly to Paris for shopping trips. He's a really bad dude.
or really great.
Shopper.
Nah, bad person. Yeah,
Right.
bad person. Nah, good call.
But with lots of frequent flyer miles.
Yeah, which is great. It's so handy.
Yeah, I mean, how do you judge what a good person is?
Mostly on frequent flyer points, to be honest.
Well,
That's how
if
I would judge.
If that's the case.
He's probably one of the best.
Well, Mobutu, he thought he could improve his country's image by hosting the boxing match, and he told Don King that he would pay $10 million in prize money. So a lot of money for a very poor country. Ali said at the time, some countries go to war to get their names out there, and wars cost a lot more than $10 million.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, he was worried about his economy, but it seems like he's making some pretty savvy economical decisions.
So that provides 10 million, and each fighter's promised 5. What's in it for Don King? How does he get his cut?
Oh, he would get
He
a
sells
sweet...
the broadcasting rights or something.
I'm sure he would get a sweet cut of that and the broadcasting rights, yeah. So he started up like his own production company and all this extra stuff to
Right.
have his finger in every single pie.
He sold
out.
hot dogs. He
Yeah,
sold
oh,
hot
he's
dogs
a-
at the match. That's where he got his
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, and he charged
Lucrative.
Char-
Lucrative dog is...
double for sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Does that rhyme? Lucrative dogs.
No, we'll go through rhyming another time. Let Dave do his nice little report.
There were signs all around Zaire erected by or paid for by Mobutu. It said, a fight between two blacks in a black nation organized by blacks and seen by the whole world. That is a victory for Mobutuism.
Okay,
Oh.
all right.
Mobutu, however, was not happy with King's original tagline for the fight, which was, from the slave ship to the championship,
Oh.
which is terrible. So the promoter rebranded it as Rumble in the Jungle.
Rumble in the
Ah.
Jungle is better.
You were right. This guy's he's got something.
Yeah. He makes some good calls.
Rumble in the jungle. That almost rhymes. Rumble in the jungle.
It does almost rhyme. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
getting it.
Getting warmer.
The fight was scheduled for September 25th, 1974, and Foreman and Ali spent much of the middle of the year training in Zaire, getting acclimatized to its tropical African climate. So it's very sticky and wet. Oh, God. Come on, Jess.
I didn't say anything. I breathed, Dave. I have to breathe. Sorry.
Mate,
You're not the first to ask me to stop breathing, but you know what I said to the others? Okay. And so I did, and then I black out, and my body just takes over, and I breathe automatically.
because she's very polite, Dave. Stop projecting your insecurities onto her, or whatever you're just doing there.
Thanks, mate.
Stop reading into the breath. Your body's sick. Your body's sick, dog. You better go to the vet, you sick dog. Well, it might be time to put you down, you sicko. You sick dog. Frothing at the mouth, you're a sick boy. You're a sick boy. Let's get him to the vet. The 24-hour vet, we need to get you checked out. Get your shots. You sick dog.
Fuck you talking about?
we just let him go.
I know, I just really let you go.
There's
there.
a real point where you just lean back and just let Matt talk, and
know.
you're like, how's he going to bail himself out of this one?
Yeah. I decided to dig. I'm going to dig my way out.
Big
I'll
ar-
keep talking. I'll find something. No,
I like
no,
that confidence.
no,
That's good.
No,
Yeah,
that's not it. That's not
confidence-
it. That's not
confidence-
it.
Confidence akin to Muhammad Ali there.
Oh.
So Ali was a very endearing figure to the people of Zaire, and his mind games turned out well, turning the Congolese people in his favour against Foreman. He would make speeches about how he was returning to his African people and convince them that he was fighting for them. When Ali flew to Africa, he couldn't believe that the whole crew, including the pilots, were black, and there's footage of him making one of his famous speeches from the cockpit. Yeah, he's super excited. He's like, can't believe I'm on a plane.
And the pilot's like, that's great, but I'm trying to fly a
Yeah.
plane.
Seriously, he's in the cockpit sitting behind the pilot
So
going,
if you could just-
I am the greatest, and just going through all this. He's probably
So
like,
if you could
"All right,
just
mate,
quiet down
okay."
a little bit.
Wow.
No, I'm happy to have a chat, but I just need to just say a couple of things to the co-pilot. We are trying to fly a plane.
This is a 14-hour flight, and you've been talking for the first 7.
If you could just, okay, I mean, there's a meal. Did you want to go eat something? Like, we are trying to, I appreciate that you're here. It's nice, but we do have work to do, okay? Oh, yes, I know you're the champ. I know.
I know,
Jeez,
you've said it 30 times in the last hour.
Fucking hell, this guy.
Have you got? I just remember there was a movie, big biopic. You guys see that?
I haven't. I was thinking about that
I haven't
before.
seen it either.
With Will Smith, right?
Yeah, he won some awards for it or
No, he's nominated for an Academy
nominated?
Award.
Do go on.
Champ is here.
Yeah.
Until Foreman arrived, many Congolese thought that George Foreman was a white man.
With a name like George
so,
Foreman.
Ali's like already world famous and sort of seen as this figure outside of boxing as well because of his campaigning for rights and that kind of stuff. But they didn't really know George Foreman that well. When Foreman arrived, he brought his German Shepherd dog with him, but this offended locals as the Belgians who had settled and controlled Congo and treated them really badly. For many, many decades, they used German Shepherds as police dogs. So, strike one against you, Foreman.
That is unlucky.
Unlucky.
Don't bring your sick dog here. You're sick. Hey. Etc.
Ali would travel around Congo drumming up support for himself, whilst Foreman kept more to himself and trained quietly. So he was more at the time more of a quiet, brooding character, and Ali's just non-stop talking.
He really came out of his shell when it came time to grilling.
Yeah. When it was time for grilling, it's time for thrilling. Foreman's punches, though, when he was training, was so hard that after 15 minutes of punching bag training, the heavy bag was either split open or there's a massive dent left in it. There's a video of it. He just goes whack, whack, like with his fists, and then he steps back. And you know how hard boxing...
Really hard.
And these are like the hardest ones for a heavyweight guy. And there's just a dent in it.
No.
It's scary.
Wow.
Apparently he hated Zaire, and according to his biography by George, great title.
Oh my God, yes.
One of the reasons he hated the country was because it didn't have cheeseburgers.
No, that's fair.
Love you, George. A popular chant leading up to and during the fight from the locals was Ali Bomaye.
Ah, I've heard of that.
Bomaye, which means Ali, kill him.
Oh, boy.
And Ali would often lead the chants himself.
Of course he would.
He'd see a camera crew and go, oh, awesome, awesome. He'd see a bus full of locals and just go up to the bus and start shouting it, and then they join in, of course.
God, he's a cocky bastard, isn't
Oh,
he?
yeah. It's all mind games, though. It's all mind games.
Yeah.
In addition to the fight, a 3-day-long music festival was organised in Kinshasa, the city hosting the event, which is the capital of the Congo. And Zaire. This event was called Zaire 74. It combined music from both black American musicians and local African music groups. It was meant to be a major promotional event for the fight, like a big 3-day party leading up to it. And it was also intended to present and promote racial and cultural solidarity between African Americans and African people.
Cool.
The intended audience was meant to be foreign travellers, so people coming in. It was another way for Mobutu to show off his country. Like, yeah, cool.
And the locals couldn't afford tickets to a thing.
Yeah, nothing, yeah. But George Foreman cut his eyebrow whilst training. The fight had to be postponed for 6 weeks for it to heal. Because if you have an injury like that, you take 2 punches to it and just pisses blood.
Especially head wounds. They bleed like
yeah,
a
like
mofo.
heaps. And that'd sort of be the
Tiny
end of the fight.
cut on your head and it'll just bleed.
Fearful that Foreman would never return, Mobutu refused to let him leave the country for treatment.
Oh,
He was
wow.
like, no, we'll treat you here.
That's weird.
6 weeks. That's really interesting. It must have been a fairly decent cut.
Yeah, it must have been pretty bad, I
Yeah,
reckon.
if it's 6 weeks, he's done some damage.
And you also can't train properly because you can't spar with because they punch him in the face.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
The music festival Zaire 74 was unable to be moved and lost out on its international audience. It still went ahead with 80,000 locals attending.
Wow.
That's a huge festival.
Huge.
still.
Musicians that appeared as part of the festival, which the locals had no idea who they were.
Boys to Men.
Boys to Men.
Wait, what year is this?
Bit early.
1974.
Bit early for Boys to
all
Men.
famous black musicians.
And anyone we would know?
I've got-
Earth, Wind,
I wish. Earth, Wind and Fire.
and Fire. Chic.
James Brown.
Oh, wow.
Sick.
And he's you see videos of him. He's got a mustache at the time, which I've
Great.
never seen on James Brown before.
Jackson 5,
No,
Ray Charles.
no. You're gonna be disappointed now. BB King
Oh, cool.
the
Blues
King's
legend.
cool.
We were not disappointed.
and Bill Withers,
Oh,
which is very cool. And also a lot of other local groups coming together.
that is cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
80,000 people. That's huge.
Yeah.
Cool.
At first, when the fight was cancelled, Ali freaked out. He wanted to go home, or he was like, "Get Joe Fraser out here for a rematch. I'll get paid less money, pay him less money. It's all good." He didn't want to hang out in Africa for another 6 weeks.
I love it here. I love it.
I love it.
I
What?
want-
6 weeks?
I'm
No.
with you guys. Get me out of here.
Get me out of here. I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here.
And that's where that came from.
It's not working, mate. We don't know what you mean.
Yeah, well, he was 40 years too early.
I told you he was ahead of his time.
What a bloody tycoon.
But eventually he agreed to stay, and he spent the 6 weeks training hard.
Smart.
So here are the stats before the fight.
Mm-hmm.
At 25, the younger and stronger Foreman seemed an overwhelming favourite against the well-worn, now 32-year-old Muhammad Ali. Some bookmakers were betting 40-1 odds against Muhammad Ali.
Why are the
That's
bookmakers
crazy.
betting when they should be busy making bloody books? Jeez
Dave,
Louise.
got an answer for that?
Why are they making books? Oh, unless they're placing bets in their free time, because making books is a 9 to 5.
Everyone
kind of gig.
deserves a bit of leisure.
No, absolutely. I'm so sorry. That was very judgmental of
What
me.
if they're placing bets in the books they've made?
Well, that's just vandalism, and my primary school librarian would not have a bar of that.
Okay, just a question, Jess.
Good
Bloody
hell.
hell.
You know how I feel about books.
I
though.
know.
Foreman,
Good? Is it good or bad?
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
It's pretty good.
George Foreman had 40 fights and 0 losses,
Wow.
37 of which were by knockout.
Wow.
So
Matt?
nearly every time he knocked the other fighter out.
That's really good.
And,
There we go. Now he's getting it.
Ali, by this time, had 44 fights, but he'd lost 2.
That's still not
He'd
bad.
lost 2.
That's still pretty great.
And they were to Fraser and Foreman? No, he hasn't fought
No,
Foreman.
he hasn't fought Foreman. In a controversial decision, in a decision match, he lost and when another fighter broke his jaw during the match.
Oof.
Yet. Yeah, you shouldn't. I reckon that. It feels like that's.
You're a winner.
That's the winner.
Yeah, if you break their jaw.
All right. First, who's knocked out? None of you. Okay. Who's got a jaw that can still work? Who can eat food
Who's got
with
the
a
worst
fork and knife?
owie?
As you sit down, all right, I want you to eat this meat pie.
Yep.
Winner gets the championship, and Ali's like, oh, fuck.
And he's like,
The corner of my draw.
wait, it's a chunky meat pie.
No, my championship.
Don Kings and makes them buy the meat
Curse you, chunky beef.
pie. Curse you, chunky beef. Curse you, chunky beef. Ali, Bomaye. Curse you, chunky beef. Really thought that would catch on. Ali had won 44, so he'd won 42 or 44 fights, 31 by knockout. So they both got great knockout records.
Yeah.
Both men stood at 6'3".
Oh, same height.
Foreman weighed 100 kilos.
Uh-huh.
Ali 98 kilos.
Okay, they're very similarly matched. And 6'3".
So if you look at them,
But you have to
Foreman-
be, like, you're in the same weight division. So why is Ali giving away... Why doesn't he put 2 kilos of muscle on?
because Foreman is like huge,
Right. He just
and
wouldn't want to
Ali
be that
he's
big.
not as thin as and light on his feet when he was younger.
Right. So,
So
he needs to
when
be
he-
trimmish.
And when he's returned from his 4 years away, he's not as quick as he used to be
Fair enough.
by a long shot. And that's why people are saying. Some people were really worried that Ali was going to ruin his great reputation. Like, this would be it for him.
Yeah.
He's the whole time saying, "I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill George. I'm going to smash him." A lot of people were like, "He's just saying that. He's obviously very scared."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has he done the famous float like a butterfly line yet?
Yes, that was when he was younger.
Yeah.
I'm going to float like a butterfly,
Sting like a bee.
Yeah.
I saw there was, Anthony Mundine, Australian boxer, champion boxer.
Yeah.
His dad was on a sports show when I was a kid, and he was talking up Mundine ahead of a fight, and it was live TV, and and he sort of, I think he was trying to go for something like that, but you could see like he got halfway through and realized he hadn't left himself anywhere to go, or that he just mucked it up. And he goes, he's gonna float like a bee and sting like a fly.
Really? Oh, no. This is his dad.
Yeah.
His dad.
Dad.
Just imagining my dad trying to trash talk, and it is so good to imagine.
I think I think that might have been leading up to the Danny Green fight, which he did win. But yeah, I don't think it was.
Dad had a point.
See, my dad was right. I do sting like a fly. Fuck, that's still uncool.
God damn it, Dad. I told you not to do any press.
Why are you on Fox Sports, Dad?
Yeah, stop it.
Stop going on Fox Sports. You know that's my favourite channel. My favourite Muhammad Ali quote, which is about George Foreman and leading up to this fight, is I done wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I handcuffed lightning. Thrown thunder in jail. Only last week, I murdered a rock. Injured a stone. Hospitalised a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick.
That's a really sweet little...
It's great, isn't it?
Little poem.
So he's spouting these poems all the time, but most people are like, you're going to get destroyed by this guy who's not saying anything back.
Did he have a writer? Or he came up with it all himself?
No, he's thinking this stuff himself.
Where does he get the time?
Totally these days, anything like that, I reckon it'd be like, they'd have a whole
Speech
team.
writer.
You'd have
Yeah.
someone in your entourage would be
Hang on. Do you reckon Mundine's dad had a speechwriter?
No.
Sting like a fly. Come on, Mr. Mundine. They'll lap it up.
Therein lies the problem. He did not have a speechwriter.
Oh, no.
That's so good. So yeah, he's a great fighter and a talented
Wordsmith.
wordsmith as well. What a guy.
What a guy.
Imagine being able to do one of those things.
I'll take anything.
Imagine having a skill, let alone two.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll learn rhyming one day, and maybe I can, end up writing poems that make me as powerful as a fly.
Fuck. I murdered a rock.
So good. Murdered a rock.
I handcuffed lightning.
Handcuff lightning is
That's
brilliant.
cool, yeah,
It's
yeah.
so good.
But the other one is when he talks about last night I turned the lights off and I was in bed before the room was dark.
That's fast. That is really
No,
fast.
that's impossible. No, hang on. No. Here we go. In my bedroom, I've got a light switch above my bed.
Yeah.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, a bit of insight.
I imagine.
Yeah.
The fans will be able to
in the-
build a shrine to your bedroom.
Because there's a main light, which is like the switch is over by the door.
You talking about in our bunk bed, Jess? I think
Yeah,
we
in
know.
a bunk bed. Well, the listeners don't.
Okay.
And then there's also a light on my wall above my bed that has a control just underneath it.
So it's like a lamp built into the
Into
wall.
the wall. Because it was my parents' room, and then they renovated. You know how like parents put in those sorts of features?
Yeah, I was thinking that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've
This
never.
is not something that I've done. This is just, came with the room.
I demanded it. When I moved in at 0.
Came with the room. It was my parents' room.
What Muhammad Ali didn't mention is that his light was a clapper.
There it is. That's the laugh. That's the laugh.
I was in bed before the lights went out. I'm in bed. I'm ready. Good night.
No night. I imagine Muhammad Ali said no night.
I'm going to handcuff lightning. Got it. He's such a great character. He's so funny.
good.
So the fight finally took place after this 6-week wait on October 30th, 1974 at the 20th of May Stadium, which was named, I've seen two sources.
I thought you just had like a brain fade there.
That's what it's called.
It's called the 20th of May.
It was called the Stadium de, because they speak French. May.
It's only open one day of the year. You'll never guess which
It's
day.
either named
Christmas.
Mobutu either named it that because that's the day he seized power, or that's the day that it was first opened. I saw two sources. I enjoyed them both.
Both
He
pretty
does have a little bit of the Turkmen
good.
Bashi
Yeah,
about him.
definitely.
He was the Turkmenbashi before anyone knew what that was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Insiders say that Foreman and his handlers actually prayed in his dressing room before the fight that Foreman would not kill Ali.
Oh man.
So high was the anticipation that Ali was simply no match for Foreman.
Wow.
Whilst over in Ali's dressing room, the mood was apparently like a morgue. No one, not even his team, thought he could beat Foreman.
Jesus.
I feel like both of those attitudes are bad for Ali. Like, I mean, not bad for
Yeah,
the
no
fighter.
shit.
For the fighter.
So George Foreman going in thinking, I hope I don't kill him, is not a good vibe to
No,
go in
yeah,
before
'cause-
you're going to try and knock a guy out.
Yeah, you'd hold back, wouldn't you? Because you'd
Yeah.
be panicking you're going to murder a man. So Ali's team, they knew he'd been saying for weeks how he was going to crush Big George and his usual trash talk, but no one actually believed it. Ali walked into the dressing room and picked up on the vibe and said, "What's wrong with all of you?" And to get himself pumped up as much as anything, he started asking, "What am I going to do out there? I'm going to dance. What am I going to do out there?" And he was pointing to his team members. They're saying, "You're going to dance. You're going to dance." And he's saying that into the mirror to pump himself up.
And then one of them's just like, for fuck's sake, dude, you're supposed to be fighting, not dancing.
Fucking,
The
this-
dancing concert is next week.
this is embarrassing.
He's doing up his tap dancing shoes. I'm going to dance.
I'm like, no!
Tippity tap tap, tippity tap, tip tip tap.
Oh. And then they're just thinking, fuck, he is going to die.
But God, it'll be beautiful.
He'll
his
die.
his tippity tap is better than anybody's.
That's a tip-top tippity tap. The fight started at 4 a.m.
Why?
To it-
Sorry, that was loud. I'm sorry. Why?
The fight to attract a nighttime TV audience in the USA.
That's a terrible time, though.
To me, it's very strange that they have to go all the way to Africa to find someone willing to pay for the boxes, but then the US people are still like, no,
Yeah,
we want to watch it.
Yeah.
But do you remember a few years ago during the Australian Open when who was it? Bernard Tomic was complaining that the game went too late. It was past his bedtime and he couldn't play well because it was such a late game. Do you remember that? Does that ring a bell at all?
That sounds like that piece of shit, in my opinion.
How dare
How
you?
dare you?
Right? So, like, 4 a.m. is not a good time
No, that's
for
right.
them to start fighting.
If it's good enough for Muhammad Ali, it's too good for Bernard Tomic.
Oh, wow. You've done a Perkins and gone.
Yeah.
Look at his
Fuck you,
face.
Bernie. Fuck yeah.
Ooh,
He does this
okay.
thing where he gets really riled up where he, like, pulls his bottom lip over his teeth. Like,
I cheer when that guy loses. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
That is... Come on, Dave.
This is kind of intimidating and confronting and sexy. Is this what it's like when I turn on people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very similar. We feel all those things.
Wow.
Just remember, I've got 0 knockouts under my belt, so
Yeah.
watch out, Bernard Tomic.
Would you guys... This is... So we're over there in the jungle, right?
Yep.
Ready to rumble. Mm-hmm. You got two options here, and I think this says something about a person. Is 4 a.m. a big night, or is it an early morning for you?
Big night.
Big night.
Actually, it's both. I get
Hang
up.
on.
I get up at that time for radio.
What would you do in that case, though? Would you go...
As a spectator?
I'm going... Yeah, if it's
Oh, as a spectator?
Sunday morning at 4 a.m., are you going... This is a big Saturday night, or are you going, well, I'm going to have a quiet Saturday and
Nah,
get-"
big Saturday night.
If I'm in Zaire, big Saturday
Yeah,
night.
it's got to be a big Saturday, doesn't it?
Stay
Gotta
up
be.
for it. Rather than... It's like when the World Cup, the Soccer World Cup, I remember staying up for that. I don't even like soccer. But I did it.
You did it. And, you know, we all respected you.
We
all the
did
more
it.
For it.
We did it.
We did it. I'd get up at 4 a.m. to watch Bernard Tomic lose. Gotcha. Yeah. It hurts, doesn't it, Bernie? You and your $10 million can fuck off.
Oh, this is so hot.
Oh, yeah.
The thing about Bernie is I always feel like that's the point is he doesn't give a shit, right? It doesn't seem like he cares that he loses.
Yeah, nah. But when I start trash talking, people start listening. I handcuff lightning.
Got it.
Got it. Hear that, Bernie?
That's what you say when you get a mosquito.
Gotcha, Bernie. I pretend mosquitoes are Bernard Tomic. For our international listeners who don't give a shit about Bernard Tomic,
Or for our local
Yeah.
listeners.
he's a tennis player who's like a young brat who's like thinks he's God's gift, but he's like 30 in the world or something. It's like, come on, mate.
All right, where are you in the world, Dave?
31, so I'm hot on his heels.
You could, like, the racket would be bigger than you.
I played tennis when I was growing up. I gave it up.
Because your hands are too small to grip the racket?
Some say that.
What do the others say?
Some say I was bigger than tennis.
No, the racket was bigger than you is what they said. When you,
Yes, I think that.
You're confusing the...
Yep.
Yeah, there it is.
Rose-coloured glasses ruin everything. I'm still waiting for my big rematch with Bernard. 15 rounds of tennis.
You'll get him Monday,
I'll
buddy.
get him by decision.
You'll get him.
So we're back at the fight. It's 4 a.m. or 4:30 by the time the fight gets going. Still 60,000 fans have packed the stadium.
Now, if we're talking 4:30, no, I'd sleep.
Yeah,
That's the
the
difference.
threshold.
That's the difference.
See, I reckon they open gates at 4 a.m. just to keep you awake.
Yeah, okay, good on you.
I reckon 7 a.m.'s my threshold. If it's a 6 or 6:30 fight, and I'm overseas for a big sporting event, I'd reckon I'm going. The one time I
Can you
remember,
enjoy it?
I was in Prague for the AFL Grand Final a few years back, and it was a similar decision. It was like a 4 a.m. start.
Made the pilgrimage to Prague to watch the big match.
That classic pilgrimage that
Yeah.
people make.
Yeah, I know, and it was crazy how many people were there.
Did you have to find a bar?
We found an
specifically?
English pub, which
That
makes
sort of
sense.
makes sense,
Yeah.
but yeah, right?
And they played it, and it was packed.
Awesome.
Mostly with expats or people that just wanted to
I
drink?
think mainly expats, yeah.
Cool.
That's great.
Which is, it seems a bit random, but I guess, any city there's going to be 50 or 100 Australians who are dumb enough that want to watch. It was a classic game, I think.
Love the confidence.
You don't know because it was far too late / early.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dave.
Ended up that night, we stayed up all night, and then we're like walking home, and out from this bar, the sun was up by this stage, out from this bar, Frank Sinatra was blasting, and we're like, oh, one more pint before bed. Went in and spent the next few hours in there. We got home at midday or something.
Great.
What a mad dog.
What a mad dog.
And that's why they call him the chairman of the board.
Yeah, because
He really sucks you in.
yeah, and he was just in there playing a few tracks.
Taking some photos. You know what he's like.
He's like,
Yeah, he was.
yeah. A couple of selfies.
He was. Yeah, the bouncer said, "Sorry, mate, not in those shoes," and he came back with a camera, and they're like, "Yeah, no worries, mate. If you're here for, all right."
No, I was going with you. I really was. Mobutu Seko Seko, the dictator, watched the fight from his palace.
Of course he did.
Apparently,
He didn't even go to the match.
apparently afraid that people were going to assassinate him.
Well, probably a fair.
But
Fair
don't worry, because a giant portrait of him hung at the stadium to represent him.
Oh, thank goodness.
Like huge. Like a massive billboard of his face.
Wow.
Wearing the hat
The leopard print hat.
and the glasses.
Do you
All
have
right.
are there photos of him?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're
And
going
he's
to tweet one of those.
always wearing the outfit.
So
Amazing.
good. I wonder how many suits he has. Like, he probably just has heaps of grey ones.
Am I picturing it right? It's like the Dr. Evil suit from Austin Powers.
Yes, that is actually the kind of suit. Yes.
That's perfect.
I don't know why they
But
call it
imagine that with a leopard print hat, and now you've got the
Oh,
whole look.
man.
and thick frame glasses.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, he was a bad man.
What a babe.
Well, here's a bit of info about it. He allegedly rounded up 1,000 of Kinshasa's leading criminals before the fight and held them in rooms underneath the stadium.
Why?
They're like these little holding pens. And allegedly, people say that he executed 100 of them at random to make his
Why?
point because he wanted the city to be crime-free for the event because all the press were there and he wanted the city to look safe.
Jesus.
And unsurprisingly, the city was almost crime-free that whole weekend.
yeah, because he killed them all
Yeah,
off.
and they were
I
really
mean,
terrified.
the only crimes that were committed were by him, by the sounds of
Yes,
it.
him against humanity.
Lead by example, dude. Jeez Louise.
I say the world's press were there. Author of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Hunter S. Thompson. He was sent to cover the event for Rolling Stone magazine, which is also what he was supposed to be covering, the Mint 400 motorcycle race when he wrote Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas instead.
Nice.
He was sent there to cover that, though according to Time magazine, Thompson chose to float in his pool a bottle of hooch in
Like
hand.
a butterfly?
With a bottle of hooch in his hand while the great fight took place, and he was unable to write anything about the event.
That's so great. That's so great.
He went all the way to Africa.
and he's like, well,
Oh, at 4:30 a.m. he just stayed
oh
in the
yeah,
pool.
good point. It was 4:30 in the morning.
Oh, Hunter S. Thompson. Ali came out first in a white robe, followed by George wearing red.
It's because they just got out of bed.
He's got his little slippers on.
Ali, wake up! The fight! Oh shit!
He's got his little bunny slippers on.
This is
And
the
a
hotel,
little-
hotel room.
Oh, he's all sleepy. He's in his little jammies.
He is. He actually looks like he's wearing a dressing
Oh,
gown.
he's all sleepy in his little jammies. He's having a big old sleep.
Before the two even touched gloves, Ali was already trash talking George, who
That's
looked
so unlike
who
him.
looked angry. So the ref is trying to explain the rules because they have to do that at the start. And while they're doing that, Ali is just constantly yelling. He's like, all right, that's enough. Like, you've got to touch gloves. So he's already pissing off a dude that's way bigger and stronger than he was. Ali came out dancing in the first round, and Foreman went right at him. Ali made use of the right-hand lead, catching Foreman several times, which I'm not that big on boxing, but that is a strange thing to do. So he led with his right hand, which caught Foreman off guard. Before the end of the first round, however, Foreman caught up to Ali and began landing a few punches of his own, and his punches are way stronger. This is when Ali realized he needed to change his game plan. At the beginning of the second round, remember there's supposed to be like 15 of these. At the beginning of the second round, Ali went and leaned with his back on the ropes and covered up to protect himself, letting Foreman just punch at him.
What?
So he's leaning backwards on the ropes. You imagine like someone
Just, yeah.
relaxing, so the ropes are holding his weight, and then he just sort of covers up his body, and Foreman's just laying into him.
What?
And so while he was doing this, Ali would occasionally fire back with his own shots to stop himself being disqualified, because if
you can't just...
if you look like someone's kicking the shit out of you, the ref goes, well, this is not okay.
Yeah.
So every now and then he fires a punch back to look like, I'm still in the match. The plan was to let Foreman punch himself out, a strategy Ali later famously dubbed the rope-a-dope.
So smart.
Rope-a-dope.
I reckon I knew that phrase so long before I knew what it meant.
So what, he's just hoping that Foreman just tuckers himself out?
Yeah,
is
so
that the idea?
So the idea of the rope-a-dope strategy is by lying against the ropes allow much of the punch's energy to be absorbed by the ropes.
Sure.
So if you just punch someone, even if they deflect it, it like shakes their whole body and goes into their spine and makes you tired. But if they just punch you while you're against the ropes, not regular people couldn't do it, but Ali had been training up and letting people pummel him in training, so he was sort of used to taking a beating, so he just could take it. But his corner had no idea what he was doing. Get away from the ropes, Angelo Dundee, his trainer later.
Angelo Dundee? Fucking great name.
What a great name. So he's like, what the fuck's this guy doing? Later he said, when he went to the ropes, I felt sick. At the end of the second round, Dundee implored Ali to stay off the ropes. Ali waved him away and said, I know what I'm doing.
Wow.
I didn't really plan what happened that night, Ali later said, but when a fighter gets in the ring, he has to adjust accordingly to the conditions he faces. Against George, the ring was slow. Dancing all night, my legs would have got tired, and George was following me too close, cutting off the ring, so everywhere he went, he just backed him into a corner. In the first round, I used more energy staying away from him than he used chasing me. So between rounds, I decided to do what I did in training when I got tired, which is just retreat. Foreman spent all his energy throwing punches, and I will say it's very hot. So
Sure, yeah.
And most of them were blocked by Ali or didn't land properly, so he's not getting too injured. When Foreman did land flush, Ali was able to take it because he's a bad motherfucker.
Wow.
But to people watching both ringside at home, it looked like Ali was just having the absolute shit kicked out of him and barely responding. So they would just see a guy leaning against the rope, big guy smashing him, and every 10 punches just go one back.
Far out.
People were actually worried that they might be watching him being killed.
So, and I imagine at this stage, if it was on points, then Foreman would be well ahead.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he's landing like 10 punches
So
to one.
his only way out is a knockout.
I've got to knock this guy out.
Right.
But what the people at home couldn't hear was Ali continuously trash-talking Foreman. Foreman was pummeling Ali, and when they got close, like they get into a clinch, which is when they get locked, Ali would whisper in his ear, "Is that the best you got, George? Harder, sucker, swing harder. You the champion. They told me you could punch."
Wow.
This was designed to fire up and piss off Foreman, so he'd spend all of his energy. And it worked. In the fifth round, Ali suddenly landed a combination on an increasingly tired Foreman, and when he got hit, so you watch in the video, he gets hit and his head fires back Foreman, and sweat flies off it. This is when you start to realise, oh, this guy might be tired because he's drenched in sweat from pummeling. And then people started to think, oh, maybe he's got a plan. Ali also had the crowd on his side between rounds. He continued to urge them to chant, Ali, Bomaye, Ali.
Wow.
So he's firing, getting energy off the crowd. Ali continued to taunt George, saying, hit harder, show me something, George. And that don't hurt. I thought you were supposed to be bad. And George actually later on said that this is when he started getting worried, because he used to just beat the shit out of people, and he's hitting Ali as hard as he can, and he's not going down.
So he wouldn't, like, no one had used that lying on a rope technique
Yeah,
before,
no
I
one's-
guess.
no
So
one-
you just didn't, you wouldn't be putting it together that...
Yeah, you wouldn't work out. He'd just be thinking, what the hell? I'm punching this guy, and he's telling me to hit him harder, but I
Yeah.
can't.
Wow.
So Ali's getting in his head. Finally, in the 8th round, Ali landed a left hook that brought Foreman's head up into position so Ali could nail him with a hard right straight to the face. So he pops his face up and then whacks him.
Oh, right. So
Wow.
boxing, like, you sort of get your chin on your chest, do you?
Yeah, so he pushed him up, and he's open, and then he just
Smack.
absolute haymaker. Foreman staggered, then twirled across the ring before landing on his back. Foreman got up, but not quickly enough. The referee counted to 10 and waved the fight over.
Wow.
Wow.
So 10 years after upsetting Sonny Liston and 7 years after being stripped of his title, Ali had finally regained the World Heavyweight Championship. It was another one of the biggest upsets in sporting history.
Oh my god.
I love this. Ali told reporters that he chose not to add another punch as Foreman fell. So as he was falling, he could have punched him again, as to not spoil the symmetry of his descent. Because the way he sort of just crumples and falls down, and he's a huge dude.
Plus, he's falling already.
Wow.
Yeah, but a lot of boxers will be like, fuck it, I've got
I gotta
to
make
take
sure
another
of it.
chance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just seal the deal.
Oh, man, that makes me feel sick.
Yeah, that's
so
awful.
brutal.
It's
That's
so
awful.
brutal. Ali pointed into the television camera and shouted to a worldwide audience, I am still the greatest of all time. As the match ended, the heavens opened up and a monsoon hit the stadium and the dressing rooms were flooded 3 feet deep. So it was like, end of match, I am the champ.
It would just feel like a powerful lord.
You would feel
of the
so,
universe.
so good.
Oh my god.
That's godlike.
Oh, so godlike. So he's really pumped up. And I did hear somewhere that later on journalists saw him standing...
Just fucking bitches.
Well, no, he was standing by a river quietly on his own, and he just turns to the... They sort of catch him on his own, and he turns to them and goes, gentlemen, you'll never know how much that meant to me, and then left.
Wow.
And
Fucking
then he
cool.
floated into the sky.
Okay, so just a bit more on later life for everyone in this story.
Yes.
Ali won 9 more matches before
wow.
losing the title to American guy Leon Springs. But he won.
Never heard of him.
Well, he
Leon
won the
Springs.
title back in a rematch, making him the first heavyweight champion to win the belt on 3 separate occasions.
Wow.
And he's a lot older by this stage. Ali retired, but quickly came out of retirement and fought 2 more matches where he was badly beaten. It is said that the last 2 matches where he was absolutely pummeled, can't think of who it was, said it was like watching Ali have an autopsy performed on him while still alive. 'Cause
Oof.
and a lot of people have said that these last 2 matches may have contributed to his later Parkinson's disease.
Wow, okay.
Ali married 4 times and had 9 children across his life. So,
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They mustn't be in the limelight too much, I don't think.
his daughter has been a boxing
boxer.
champion.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she's
I did know that.
undefeated.
Yeah.
And now
Wow.
retired undefeated. Amazing.
You know what? I love that it's a daughter, not a son. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just extra cool.
Yeah, isn't it
Does
cool?
that sound weird? But you know what I mean, though? Like,
Yeah, well, it's not typical of what you'd expect.
yeah. That's really great.
Ali was named Fighter of the Year by Ring Magazine more than any other fighter in history.
Ring magazine.
In 1999, Time Magazine named Muhammad Ali one of the 100 most important people of the 20th century.
Wow.
He was crowned Sportsman of the Century by Sports Illustrated, named Sports Personality of the Century in a BBC poll. He received more votes than any of the other contenders, which included Pele, Jesse Owens, and Jack Nicklaus, the golfer, combined.
Wow.
George Foreman, after a near-death
Wait,
experience...
Dave, sorry. Are these fun facts?
I'd say this is a fun postscript.
Okay. All right.
Do you go with that? Because it's rather than dot points, it just sums up everyone's...
Okay. Yeah, no, that's nice.
Dave.
Yeah, that's lovely, Dave.
Dave, you're a cowboy. You're a wild man,
I'm a wild man.
and I love it.
Thank you.
He's a sick dog.
You're a sick dog. You're a sick puppy
I'm
dog.
frothing at the mouth.
You vomit on the carpet and you've eaten it up again. I love it.
It's our little secret. I won't tell Mum, but I know what you did.
You got George Foreman.
Then we got George Foreman. After a near-death experience, he stopped fighting and became an ordained minister. Decided to dedicate 10 years of his life to God.
Only 10 years. He decided at the start, I'm just going to do a
This
tight 10.
And then I can do whatever the fuck I want. I have
Grills.
earned this. I've earned this.
I love that. Oh, yeah, it's funny how it's like I believe in. This is like I was saying before. I believe in God. Obviously, God's all powerful. He's created everything. I'm gonna dedicate a little bit of time to him. That's the least I could do. He created everything. I could give him a little bit of
Sweet
time.
little 10 years.
No, do you know what it is? I'll dedicate 1/7 of my guaranteed lifespan to him, which, if you think about it, is 1/7 of the week is the Sabbath. I'll just give up all my Sundays in
Just
one
do it,
go.
bang it right
and the
out
rest
quickly.
of my life,
Yeah.
I'm home free.
Oh, that's smart.
That's nice.
really
That's
smart.
nice.
So what happened after 10 years was he announced a comeback as a boxer at the age of 38, mostly so he could fund sort of Christian endeavours.
Oh.
And then he regained the...
He fought some kids, so that was fun.
He came back at 38 and he got better and better and sort of slimmed down and got back to fighting.
He fought a shark. And the shark had a bear on its back. And he fought him. And he won! He's the bear shark champion still to this day.
And that's why we celebrate Christmas. So he came back at 38, but he regained the heavyweight championship at the age of 45.
Wow.
20 years after he'd lost it to Ali. And when he won it, he was wearing the same shorts.
No.
How fucking cool is
I
that?
hope he'd washed them.
He was the oldest fighter to win the championship. 45. So he won
45.
it when he was 24, lost it
That
to
is
Muhammad
amazing.
Ali, retired 20 years later, came back.
That is amazing.
That's impressive.
And when Foreman came back from retirement, so this is a big comeback story, he argued that his success was due to his healthy eating, which made him a perfect fit for Sultan Inc., which was looking for a spokesperson for its reduced fat grill, in which Foreman had some influence designing, but it's not his idea.
Uh-huh.
Hulk Hogan had previously been considered the WWE wrestler, but chose to pitch the Hulkamania meatball maker instead. You've all heard of. You've got one of those, of course.
Obviously.
You've got-
I'm not an idiot.
It's the second best-selling grill appliance of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Although Foreman has never confirmed exactly how much he's earned from the endorsement, it is known that Sultan paid him $137 million in 1999 for the right to use his name.
In 1999 as well.
So he'd been making money up until that point, and then he said, all right, I won't take any more money. Now you've got the right to my name. Give me a lump sum.
I just want $1 million. Like, I don't... Oh.
So prior to that, he was paid about 40% of the profits on each grill, earning him $4.5 million a month in peak payouts. So it is estimated that he's made over $200 million from the endorsement.
Oh, my God.
Substantially more than he ever earned as a boxer.
Or a minister. Which is weird.
Really?
Well, depends how high you went up at the Vatican.
That is crazy.
Isn't that crazy money?
But it also means, I mean, it's great money, but it also means to a generation, he's the grill guy, not the boxing guy.
Yeah, that's what we were saying before, but that's fine. I'd be okay with that.
I'd be okay with that for $200 million.
I'd be okay with anything for
What's that?
$200 million.
What's that? I used to be a comedian. You didn't know about it. Who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck? I'm the grill girl.
I'm a grill man.
I'm a grilling man.
I'm a griller man. The griller in Manila.
Yeah!
They called it that.
See, that rhymed, Matt.
Fuck.
That rhymed.
I don't hear it.
Ugh.
But he didn't
I
find.
don't hear in rhymes.
I will say the thriller in Manila. That
Dave,
was,
are you saying that if you think that if someone gave you some big grill endorsement that somehow that might overshadow your comedy career?
Yes.
I don't see any grill that is going to get that popular.
That's very cute of you, Matt,
think
but
it-
I think you're blowing smoke up his
Yeah,
tiny ass.
it is very funny for me to compare my comedy career to a two-time world boxing heavyweight champion who fought in one of the most famous boxing matches of all time against Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh no, people might remember my comedy.
Dave, well, I mean, maybe he was a two-time world champion, but you're a two-time nominee, best comedy at Fringe World in Perth. So,
That is correct, 2 times.
2 times.
Which
Nominee.
means two-time loser. But I will remind you that George Foreman also lost his title twice. So
Oh,
two-time loser.
and was he nominated at Fringe World?
Probably.
Yeah, he probably was.
He put on a real performance.
Yeah.
I will say the thriller in Manila, Matt, that you're talking about before.
Yeah.
The final note on Muhammad Ali's career. That was him in Manila fighting against Joe Frazier for the third time, and Muhammad Ali won.
Yeah.
So 2-1 over.
So that was later.
So that was after the run. This is one of the 9
That was
fights.
like a retiree sort of old man fight.
Oh yeah, they were both a lot older by then.
It was just a bit of a
Wowza.
cash in.
Huge cash in.
What about-
Don King also organised that.
Of course
so.
he did.
Right. But I mean, those rhyming sort of names are the key because they're the two fights I know of.
The Rumble in Jungle, Thrill in Manila.
I think it's also why I like Danny Green because he's the Green Machine.
Oh, that's pretty good.
The names are very integral, I think.
So, Ali always talked about being the greatest and stuff, but you've talked about all these boxers have amazing records. Like with time and everything, does history say one of them was the greatest?
It's very debated.
So
Still
there's
debated.
no one would say definitely one over the other. I mean,
No, some people will say that Muhammad Ali is the greatest of all time.
Because I just always thought that a big part of that was, marketing, and he was such a good self-promoter. He's such a big personality.
Now, a lot of people say that, especially when he was young, and if he hadn't been robbed of that 4
Right.
years, he would have been unbeatable.
Would have been. That's
But still,
But then, because the
he
thing
did
about
win the
this,
championship on 3 separate occasions.
but the one that you were just talking about was basically finding a loophole, right? He did this thing that no one had figured out before, which is really smart, but that doesn't make you a good boxer. That just makes you a really good strategist, right?
Yeah, I think he's definitely one of the best strategists and best getting people in people's heads.
Because
Yeah.
you can't use rope-a-dope again, can you? You can't.
Oh, no,
they
you
know
can-
what you're doing, so but wouldn't you? You,
Oh,
wouldn't,
people
you
still-
wouldn't pummel him on the ropes anymore, would you?
People still do it. I read that Manny Pacquiao, the famous
Yeah,
boxer, he
Pac-Man.
has used the method once when he was fighting against someone to test out how good the guy was,
Right.
how hard his punches were. So he just took him on the rope. So people still use the method.
Seems like if you get sucked into that now, you'd be, not very smart. I'm sorry that you saw me
Admit it.
go so wild there, but I felt
It was not as sexy as when Dave was
I
doing
felt
it
passionate.
before.
I felt emotional.
You went for it.
Yeah.
You took your time. Well, this is the final note on the report. I will say that Muhammad Ali and George Foreman eventually became very close friends.
Aww.
As opposed to Joe Frazier and
They were not mates.
They were not mates.
Do you reckon Muhammad Ali had a George Foreman grill in his house?
I would say almost certainly.
Yes.
Ali had trouble walking to the stage at the 1996 Oscars to be part of the group receiving the Oscar for When We Were Kings, a documentary on the fight in Zaire, which I suggest everyone watch because it is absolutely fantastic.
Wow.
Due to Ali's Parkinson's disease, George Foreman helped him up the steps to receive the Oscar, so they went up with the documentary maker because it's about their fight. Foreman eventually concluded in 2003, Ali is the greatest man I've ever known.
wow.
Not greatest boxer, that's too small for him. He had a gift. He's not pretty, he's beautiful. Everything America should be, Muhammad Ali is.
Wow. That's very nice.
Very
That is
nice. And
very
he would
nice.
later say he couldn't deal with the fight. He couldn't deal with the loss at the time. He told himself that Ali, was cheated or that all this different stuff. The conditions were wrong. But that as he grew older, he eventually admitted the better man won.
Wow. That's
Which to me
amazing.
makes Foreman the better man.
I agree.
Somehow.
Somehow.
Now I'm really glad I paid $24.95 for his mix and go blender.
That's right.
I'm
Well, you may be, but I have absolutely no regrets about buying the Hulkamania meatball machine. So,
Still serve me
win-win.
People.
Dave, that was an excellent report.
Great report, as always, Dave.
Thank you
As
very
always.
much.
Dave.
I've been wanting to do that one for a while now, and then when
What
poor
do you-
Muhammad went, I thought we'd go for it.
Dave, Jess and I have got an idea. How about you just do all the reports?
Oh,
I think we've pitched this to him a few times and he's never on board.
because it would make me do triple my work, and your work would be a lot less.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's probably why we enjoy
So is that,
the idea.
is that good or... Because you were saying before 100% is good?
Yeah, you were saying that before.
I'm saying you could do 100% of the reports. Is that right? That's good, right? Is that what you're saying? 100% is good?
I'm so confused now. I
Yeah.
feel like you've got me on the ropes. What's that? I was doing it on purpose the whole time. I am the champion.
Okay, who would win in a fight out of the three of us though?
Oh, definitely not me. I think both of you'd probably team up and take me out, and then
No.
it'd be between the two of you.
Interestingly, that question was asked when our mate Nick Mason was sitting in your chair,
Oh, yeah.
and he said that Dave would win
Why did he say it? I don't know.
Nah.
because you asked the question. It's
Oh,
like,
okay.
if you ask the question, there's something about you who...
Yeah. I reckon I'd kick your asses.
Yeah, I'd...
Definitely.
I'd be-
I weigh the most. I am the heavyweight champion of this team. And I did taekwondo for several years.
Yeah,
Did
right.
you do it for several... Well, do I need to remind you that I once played tennis?
You once played tennis.
Apparently I'm ranked 31st in the world.
I did forget that you once played tennis, which will obviously help you in a fight. Fucking Dave.
Yeah, I think
I'd take you.
you would definitely win.
Yeah.
What about in Zaire, 1974?
No, don't be fucking ridiculous, David. I'm sorry.
I don't know, I reckon
I'm
Dave
sorry.
would handle the humid conditions better.
No, he wouldn't, little skinny boy. Anyway, point is that would never happen because we're all friends. I'll
Anyway,
never fight with you.
Tweet in who you think would win in a fight from the sound of our voices. 40 to 1 against me. Come on.
Sound tough.
I'll take him.
Arrgh.
You sound tougher than you look, Dave.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, please do not Google image search me. It will ruin your imagination.
Or look at your phone screen where there's probably a photo of Dave inside of an O.
But we're all inside an O. Aren't we? Yeah.
In a way,
In a way.
aren't we all inside an O?
Well, listener dear, you can...
Listener dear.
It is getting late.
You too can be inside a know by... tweeting us
Is
in...
that what they call it these days?
Yeah, well, we'll do whatever you want. Tweeting in an idea for a show at Do Go On Pod. I swear I'm going back to the hat next week. I'm not going to tell you who you are, but at least one of you out there in 2 weeks' time when it's my shot again are going to be pretty happy when I do my report because it's from the hat. But you can also email us if you're not a Twitter person. Do go on pod@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. You can always review us on iTunes. Or, you know what the best thing would be to do? Tell a friend if you do that. We're actually really getting out there, and I think it's mainly because people are just telling people.
Yeah, so keep doing that.
So if you've got friends that like podcasts and they want to add one into their rotation, tell them to give us a go.
Thanks
Yeah,
so
give
much
us a
for
go.
listening, everybody.
Yeah, we really appreciate
thanks.
it. It's really, really cool.
I mean, I know we we muck around a lot here at Do Go On Pod, but
yeah, we'd physically turn on each other, but we'd never physically turn on you.
I know I would never Well, yeah, no. If push comes to shove, I would push and shove you, but I would never do that to our listeners, and I love them all equally.
So great. Get in contact. Matt, you going back to the hat next week?
Oh, I'm always in the hat.
Matt,
I'm wearing the hat.
If the hat is kind of like, if it was a museum, you'd be the curator.
Yeah,
Oh,
I love
you
the
would.
hat so much.
Yeah.
And everyone, I can't, so many great suggestions. And when they come in, I reckon 1 in 3 I've never heard of the topic before. And I do a quick look, and there are some fascinating
Like,
snories and
snories.
stories about... The snories are the ones that are a bit dull.
Yeah.
But the stories...
Like our mate Turkum Bashi, we've
Oh.
never heard of him,
No, never heard of him
and that was the
before.
best. Anyway, let's go to bed.
Yeah.
All right, guys, get in the truck. I'll keep driving all night.
Woo!
I've got a boxing match at 4:30, and I'm pulling an all nighter. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Later.